acting in the new context. When the theater is getting new forms and new idioms. So what is the role of an actor there? So the acting and acting training in the new context, Santanu will be speaking. And the next Sunday, we'll have Kumar Verma, the retired professor from Chandigarh University and an NSD alumni again. He's an important director. And he'll be speaking about the evolution of modernism in Kerala theatre, which covers the period from 1965 to say 80, when the whole boom of modern theatre is coming in. Again, he'll be touching on to the theatre, the roots that happened here in Kerala, and to what are the other influences coming. So these are the three sessions that is in waiting. Only the Catholic session is at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The other two sessions are at the usual time, 11 to 1:30, like this. So that's about that's happened next. And now we move to today's program, and we have none other than Waman Kendre, one of the most important theatre persons living in the country right now, to interact with us. And to everybody who is in this room, Waman is known and he's close. He's actually somebody very close to this, so no need of introducing him to. And to tell about him in 5 minutes or 10 minutes is impossible. But very briefly, I just, for the sake of recording, I'll just introduce him. The first thing is that he's a very dear, close friend and a very good human. That's the first thing that is to be very clearly said. And he has his own vision about theatre, vision about life, which he persistently follow up, and he see that it will be kept, and he keep his stance position clearly, and the theatre is taken up. Other things, he has, after the post-graduation in literature, he has moved to NSD, he's a pass out of NSD, and then he has a Kerala connection. After NSD, he came to Kerala, visited here, studied Kudiyatam, worked with Panikar, Kavalam Narana Panikar, and was fascinated by the implementation of Natya Shastra in the Kerala context. And he has inspired a lot. Maybe the very essential root of his theatre has been taken when he went back from here. He joined formed his theatre group, and he joined the Mumbai University as a teacher there. He's a wonderful teacher, as many of his students, or almost all of the students can assure you. He has been teaching a lot in Mumbai University. He was the director of the theatre department there. Then he moved on to take the National School of Drama onto his shoulders, and has done wonderful work as the director of National School of Drama. And he has seen that this center, the National School of Drama, should become national only if it goes out of Delhi. It cannot be just focused in the metro or the Mandi House area of Delhi. It cannot be called truly national. So he has seen that it extends its wings and roots to the other parts of the country. And he organized so many events and so many festivals in different parts of the country. And he has seen that these festivals go to places where it is usually done. So instead of going to the Mumbai city where he's coming from, or to Kolkata, he went to Sangli or Diu or some other places where there's a potential and a need for theatre to be happened. And he has seen that it is taking place. So this is his vision of nationality, Indianness, theatre getting open up, all these things. So yes, after serving that, and as a creative director, he has done very important productions. So many of the productions in many different languages, from Marathi to Hindi to English to other languages. I've been lucky to see at least 2 or 3 of his productions. Mohapiya, which is an interpretation of Madhyam Ayok, is a very important production, seen at least 3 times in different versions. Maybe different actors also. Actors also change, but the play remains the same. Mohapiya, I've seen it in Hindi and in Marathi. I've seen the first production I saw about him, I still remember, is in 2001 or 2. It's about Fool Rani.
Rani.
Full Rani. And it was, I saw it in Pune. I didn't know who Waman Kendre was at that time. So I was there to do a production in a festival there. So after 10:30, the show of Full Rani has to take place. So our place finished by 8:30, and we are in the same hall. The production is taking place. So after the festival, by 9:30, a lot of cars and people started coming in. So I was a little wondered what's happening. So the festival is over, but now people started coming in. So I asked why people are just rushing in like this, and they said no, a play, Te Fulani is going to happen at 10:30 night. And it's a 2 hour or more than 2 hour production. It was very cold also in Pune. So I just asked, what is it? So it's a very successful production in Marathi. I said, can I get a seat? I can see the play like that. They said, no, it's houseful, completely sold out, nothing happening. So they went to the organizers and said, no, I'm from Kerala, a theatre director. I want to see what's happening here. And they said, okay, there's no seat available, but you can do one thing. You come back and you enter to the green room where the actors go in. And then you go out of the stage, and then somehow they found a chair somewhere different. And it's in Marathi, it's hilarious. I just knew that, no, it's Pygmalion, adaptation of Pygmalion. But when the play started, I cannot understand the line of what's the jokes or humor or what's happening. But the whole auditorium, houseful auditorium, was simply outbursted. They were laughing, enjoying, and that effect of theater that can create such a change in the audience was a miracle for me at that time. And of course, I could understand from the visuals, and it's the way you have used the chorus of servants as servers, and then it's please mute, please mute the line, please. Please mute the mic, please. So the chorus was striking, using the plates, the spoons, and the music, with the movement, the lift going up, coming down. So it was technique, acting, indigenous usage of actors, music, everything was new, and it's that carried. So that's the first interaction with Waman Kendre's production, and then onwards stuck in me. And then later I could see Ohipia, you personally. And so for such a person who's done so many work, the nation has given him, accepted him so many awards, from Sangeeta Academy Award to Padma Shri. I'm not going to list the whole awards which he has been gone, but more than that, when he's accepted more, he becomes more human and more simple and direct. So this is, and towards the other thing, he has his own position about Indian theatre. What should happen there? In his own ideology, in his own theatre, he is maintaining that. And when we're discussing about the topic which he has to speak, he said he'll speak about the theatre of the roots, how Indian theatre should spread its roots to our own tradition, culture, performance aspects, etc. And I'm not going to speak about that. He will do it himself. So I would discuss all the participants who are attending to actively participate in the discussion following the talk. And when you're discussing it, please unmute your mic and also give your name. And Swaman, there's a lot of important people hearing you. Starting from Hema Singh to Benil to Usha Desai, who is the daughter of Arya Rangacharia, so, and many other people. I cannot see all the names because the screen is away. So,
Sir.
Who is it? So, welcome all of you to this session. Please give your name when you're asking a question or a comment or something like that. It's also going in Facebook Live.
Sir, listen.
Yeah, tell us, what's it? Who is it and what's it? Tell us if you want to tell something. Okay, I think that's enough, and I'll give the session to Waman Ji. Waman Ji, thank you. I know you are very busy, but thank you for taking the time and. Uh,
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
yes,
हेलो
yes.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर. मैं अनिल कुमार का फादर बोल रहा हूँ. हेलो.
Yes, what's it, Anil? So now it's okay.
I think somebody has hacked my account, I believe.
Okay, not hacked. Somebody might have entered with your name into it. Let's see who is it, and if he's making any trouble, we'll let him go out of the room. That we will do. So please unmute all the mics. Sorry, mute all the mics, and till you start talking, and let us.
Sir, listen me.
What's it, Rohit?
सर आपको पता है आज के दिन है ना हमारे 40+ जवान शहीद हो गए थे देश के.
क्या?
तो मैं चाहता हूँ 2 मिनट के लिए उनके लिए मौन धारण किया जाए.
You didn't understand. What's it?
सर आई एग्री विद हिज आर्गुमेंट. ये सही कह रहा है.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you properly. What's it? What's about today?
It's no, it is hacking. We have to remove it.
आज के दिन सर नथिंग हैक. सर वेट लिसन. आज के दिन हमारे 40+ जवान शहीद हो गए थे देश के पुलवामा अटैक में.
Okay, we keep
हाँ
on.
जी, बहुत बुरा हुआ.
This is not the place for that. Let us move with the session. Waman Ji, please take over, and please be silent. If you switch on the mic in between, you'll be removed from the room. Sorry for that. Unless you have to talk after Waman Ji is talking. Let's the session go ahead. Thank you, Waman Ji. Please.
Hello. Thank you, Chandradasan Ji. Namaskar to you all. And we are concerned about the lives of soldiers which lost.
सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
Good morning.
मैं सुनील का फादर बोल रहा
Dasan, see what is this?
I don't know. We have to ask him to unmute, and if it gets repeated, we have to remove
No,
him.
I removed 3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay,
Please
fine.
carry on.
I think we can lock the room also. We just allow only by accepting it. Need not.
Namaskar. Thank you very much for inviting.
वत्सले मातृभूमे तव हिंदू भूमे सुख.
Waman Ji, please continue.
Yes. नमस्ते. जय हिंद सबको.
जय हिंद, जय भारत.
जय भारत. नमस्कार.
जय माता दी.
जय माता दी. मित्रों, I'm not
कोई तो
very
मोदी बन गया मित्रों.
हेलो.
अहम ब्रह्मास्मि.
जो ये बोल रहा हूँ ये अगर रिप्लाई है जय माता दी, जय भारत, जय भारत.
ये जो बोल रहा है दूसरों को.
Hello, Chandradasan ji. I think somebody is troubling us. Please. I think somebody is troubling us. Please see, sir. Okay.
Yes. One minute. Shobha, can you just close the room? Can you close the room, Shobha? Don't allow anybody to enter right now.
Yeah, I am asking Srideep. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you, Wamanji. We can hear you.
Can we start?
Yeah, please, we lock the room.
Thank
We
you.
log the room.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Chandradasanji, and his group Lokadharmi for today's interaction with you all. It's a wonderful day. Happy Valentine Day to you all. It's a wonderful occasion on the name of Saint Valentine. And we will be sharing some thoughts on theater of roots. Basically, I'm not very comfortable in English, but I will try to speak in English, and sometime I may love to use Hindi also. Basically, when we say theater of roots, what does it mean? This question came to my mind when Chandradasan asked me to indicate the subject. Roots, it is as defined in the Wikipedia, whatever we call, Indian theatre is one of the most ancient form of theatre, and it features a detailed textual, sculptural, and dramatic effects which emerged in the mid-first millennium BC. So this is what Wikipedia says about Indian roots of Indian theatre. But for me, what is a root? I think the root is the basic of everything. Say, if we go to the plant, if you go to the agriculture site, fortunately, I am the son of a farmer. So whenever we see the roots has to be perfect. If the roots are healthy, if roots are positive, if roots are very deep rooted and expanded under the earth, then that tree becomes high, larger, and it bear flowers, fruit, and whatnot. The similar situation is with our roots of culture or roots of theater. For me, what is the root of theater, which I have defined myself? Theater of root is emerged out of urge to express with our own people, with the help of our own resources, on our own space, in and at our own premise, with our own stories and narratives, with our own ways of saying and showing, with our own artistic abilities in front of our own audiences. For me, that is the root, or we can say that is a theater of roots, which has identity, which creates the identity of particular society, which creates the identity of particular group sect of people, which create the identity of a nation, which creates the identity and asmita of that particular cultural expression. For me, that is that concept or that understanding is called the roots of theater. How many kind of theater we have? हम ऐसी बात करेंगे तो हमारे रूट्स क्या है, कहाँ है हमारे रूट्स? पहले तो हम किस तरीके के हमारे पास थिएटर है, हाउ मेनी काइंड्स ऑफ थिएटर और टाइप्स ऑफ थिएटर which we have in our country. I think we have two types of theater. One is a theater with roots, or we can call theater of roots, and one is theater which don't have roots, which is a rootless theater. In other words, you can say ruthless theater, which doesn't have roots, we doesn't have a connectivity, doesn't have a relevance, we doesn't have any meaning for our own people. But you can say there is a lot of practice happen as far as such theatrical expression in India is concerned, and which called progressive, which called modern, which called ultra modern and whatnot. I'm not criticizing, that is also way of doing theater, that is also way of expressing yourself, that is also way of connecting your inner ideas to the people. Theater of the roots has a gravity and its attachment with the local society. It has a relevance, meaningfulness, and connectivity and demand in the mind of society. We have seen so many, you can say, stages of theater development in this country. Our theater, we call it, is a very ancient theater. It's a 3,000 years back or 4,000 or 5,000 years back theater. That is good. But if we go to the roots of our theater, how many roots which we have in our own theater? Let's see that. First, we can identify tribal theater or theater of aborigines in this country. When I went to Kerala, because I belong to Maharashtra, and then I studied in National School of Drama, Delhi, so I had an understanding of North Indian theater, but I had no clue about South Indian aspect of theater, barring few theatrical expressions which we have seen or experienced during my studentship at National School of Drama. When I got this fellowship from National School of Drama and I went to Kerala for 2 years with the subject Indianness in Indian theater, to find out Indianness in Indian theater. And fortunately, my guide was Dr. G. Shankal Pillai, who was director of Drama School Trichur then, and who was one of the wonderful playwright and theater personality also from Malayalam theater, you can see. There I realized, when I first day went to see Tayyam in Kannur district, when I saw that Tayyam, and I was myself and one of my friend Horen Bhattacharya from my classmate Hema is also my classmate Hema Singh ji. She knows Horen Bhattacharya. Unfortunately, he is no more with us. But when we went to Kerala and encountered first experience with the Tayyam. Tayyam is a form which is called a ritualistic theater form. On the contrary, theater is used to propagate the rituals. हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि लोग हमें थिएटर को इस्तेमाल करते हैं, और खासकर आजकल जो पॉलिटिकल सिनारियो है उसमें बहुत सारा थिएटर इस्तेमाल हो रहा है फ्रॉम ऑल साइड एंड ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स. पर यहाँ पर कभी रिचुअल को पॉपुलर करने के, टू पॉपुलराइज द रिचुअल्स, theatrical devices or theater was engaged. After seeing those colors, you know, Chandradasan is very well versed, and other people from Kerala and South India, they might be very well acquainted with form of Tayyam or Mudiyetu or Padayani, which are very important forms of Kerala. So that was the ritualistic form, Vidhi Natya. After watching that, the Tayyam is a, you can say, corrupt pronunciation of Daivam. Daivam is a god. The god appears, not an actor takes the role of a god. It is a god. So that belief is there in that community, in Kerala community and around. And when you look at the gods, they are gods, say 30 to 35 feet high headgears and so big diameter costumes and absolutely primitive colors used to decorate that. Red, black, and white, along with tender coconut color and some kind of flowers which decorate that entire gamut. See the instruments, which I have never seen those instruments, or rather the mahol or the atmosphere created to attract people towards the gods, attract people towards the ritual. I realize I don't know this country. I realize this is not part of my experience, because I never experienced that kind of visual richness, that kind of hypnotic atmosphere, that kind of, we used to see that Tayyam go away to just to erase our experience and come back. So almost 10 to 12 hours I was just watching that Tayyam person who is performing and see. So there was no at all experience in my previous history that such an visual treat, such an visual impact, such an hypnotic music, such an the instruments and the weapons which used and martial arts and whatnot. I realize India is a country of miraculous cultural expression. And I started going into detail. When you go to Northeast, you see you don't understand any language except barring Assamese. Beyond that, Manipuri, Nagaland and all that, we don't understand those languages. But see, the total culture is different. If you go to Ladakh, if you see the costumes and whatever happens in the monastery or the festival in the monastery or out of monastery, after seeing that, you see it is absolutely different. Once there was a movement called searching the roots of Indian theatre. After we got independence, we were much influenced by Western theatre. It was a revolting movement against that kind of impact. जो impact था पश्चिम के नाटकों का, उसको हटाने के लिए Indian theatre, then the young generation, they started looking back to our own tradition and our own roots. उसमें से आपको पता है कि there are so many people who has emerged as a national heroes as far as theatre is concerned, like Habib Tanveer Saab has went back to tribal artists and created his Naya theatre and productions like Charandas Store and Agra Bazaar and Dulari Chandanpur ki Champa Bai and whatnot. He has created one of the wonderful, you can say, gamut. So that was the reason. Then in Malayalam or in South India, in Trivandrum, in Kerala, Kavalam Narayan Panikar took yet another route, which was based on classical, you can say, original expressions. And he got inspired from that. So we have this kind of movement, and that has an impact. Everybody was wanting to search for a national theatre, as if एक national theatre नाम की गोली मिलेगी और हम सब उस गोली को खाके एक हमारा एक common type of, like say Bharatanatyam, you have a codified language, and you go to Kerala or you go to North India, South India, even abroad, the basic frame is same, basic grammar is same. If you go to Kathak, you have a basic grammar. If you go to Manipur, Thangta, basic grammar is the same. But in theatre, people were trying to assemble many things together to create a national theatre called Indian National Theatre. But it failed. And thank God it failed. Otherwise, we could have been trapped in that kind of format to do, if you want to be on a national scene or international scene, do that kind of theatre. Fortunately, such things happened because of Ratan Thiam ji, because of B.V. Karan ji, because of so many Bansi Kaul ji, so many people, though went back to their roots and they started getting connected to their own cultural ethos, their own cultural expressions, and started deriving something out of that. And this is how so many theatre languages created in this country. And that is the beauty of this country. If we want to say it is a national theatre of India, then you will have to at least put up 50 productions together from different parts of India. And then it will be really a national theatre in a larger and big canvas sense. So this was a kind of movement took place. I was talking about what are our roots. I started with ritualistic theatre. So we have a ritualistic theatre. I indicated about Tayyam, Mudiyettu and Padayani, all those forms. We have Bhutam, we have in Maharashtra, we have Gondal, we have Wagya Murali. In all parts of India, we have a ritualistic tradition to pay our respect through rituals to God or to the bhumi or to the nature or to the animals around or birds around us. So that was one root, which was a very strong root. I was just indicating that India, you cannot perceive India in one life. If you want to really understand India and its expression, you will have to take rebirth at least 5 times, minimum. Then and then you will probably try and understand, oh, I have understood now India. So you have so much variety of cultural expression. So there would be so much in-depth roots of this nation's cultural expressions. So that was one. Then second, I indicated as a tribal or aborigine theater or cultural expression, that is yet another kind of a main, you can say, original stream of this country. After Aryans came to India, and then there was a kind of a mixture always. India is a country where there are a lot of influences happened, and Indian culture, Indian theater has imbibed whatever came the best to them and make it our own and express or utilize it in our own way. So that is yet another second trend, you can say, or second thread of roots as far as Indian theater is concerned. That is a tribal and aborigine expression. Then we have folk theater culture. It is, I think, no world on this planet, no other society, no other country has so much variations and so much to express. At least more than 5,000 folk forms we have in this country, and we are very fortunate that we have those roots at our service. So that is yet third but very large, you can say, thread or roots as far as Indian cultural expression is concerned. Then we have a classical Indian culture, which came through Natya Shastra, Sanskrit Natak, Kudiyatam, the tradition of Kudiyatam, and people and tradition.
Okay.
Anga tuja mute kar, huh? So tradition like that. So it is called yet another very strong tradition, which is a very codified, grammatically defined tradition, and which is one of the biggest, you can say, roots which we have. And last but not least is a traditional theater. We have a Sangeet Natak Parampara we have a Parsi theater, we have theater from Bengal, we have theater from Assam, and so many regions we have a traditional theater which is evolved in that particular milieu, which is evolved in that particular, you can say, demand of that particular society. Even Kerala, I have seen so much big productions as far as modern theater then when I'm 35 years old story I'm telling you, huge productions, maybe commercially viable productions, whatever. So these are 5 trains which we have. We can say these are main streams of our roots, which one can pick up things from them, or one can get inspired from them. So we have, I mean, it's a wonderful country. If you really want to be theater person, if you want to be really performer, if you want to be really create something new, create something unique, because this country has unexhausted sources, unused sources. Last 5 years I was trying to can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Hear you
Yes,
properly.
yes. So last 5 years I am working with tribal people. Uske pehle bhi main kaam karta tha, and I realized it's such a virgin culture. No contamination happened in that culture. And if you put that in front of people, it will be miraculous expression for entire world. Similar with the folk culture. There are so many folk which has not been seen by out of those society or out of those periphery as far as geographical area is concerned. They are not, you can say, commercial performers or professional performers. They enjoy themselves. They work on farms, and for their own pleasure they perform, like on Ekadashi or Purnima or Amavasya or some festival, and they just forget it. So this is what you can see. It is beyond banyan tree. You can see, if you take an image of a banyan tree, what a vriksha. If you take the image, but what a vriksha, kitna bhi lamba ho, maybe it is a expanded, say 10 kilometers or 50 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers, but roots will remain the same. The leaves will remain the same, fruits will remain the same. But as far as Indian theater tradition is concerned, as far as Indian performing culture is concerned, it is like a banyan tree, but every root and above, the totally different leaves, totally different branches, totally different petals, totally different flowers, and totally different fruits. And those who use that, maybe animals, maybe human beings, maybe something, they get the taste, the fragrance, and utility of that is absolutely different. So I think Indian cultural roots, and specifically theater roots, are very strong, very deep, and completely expanded to the nooks and corner of our country. There is no area where theater don't happen. There is no area, there is not a single square kilometer area in this country where there is no performing tradition. Every nook and corner is full of culture. One of our gurus, Fritz Benewitz, was a German director, and he used to come almost alternate year in India and direct plays either with NSD or with some Calcutta group or Mumbai group or somewhere else. So he used to say, this country is a country of mad people. I said, why we are mad? He said, I have not seen such a country. He used to travel all over the most of the globe. He said that there is not a single person who is not artist. Somebody can sing, somebody can play rhythms, somebody can dance, somebody can do pan very artistic way, somebody cooks in so artistic way. So he used to say that entire citizenship is artistic in this country, which I have never experienced in other part of the planet. I think these are the reactions which can eye-opening reactions for us, because Ushaji is also there. So I know her also. So all this, if you go to Karnataka and you go to the length and breadth of Karnataka, you will have at least 100 performing forms. May it folk music, may it traditional music, may it ritualistic music, may it is theater, may it is a dance, may it is a yakshagana or bailata, dodata, and so many things. If you go to Uttar Pradesh, you have a Ramalila, you have a Raslila, you have a Nautanki. So all culture and supplying to the entertainment quest and demand of people, everyone has their own type of cultural expression or theatrical form to entertain themselves. So it is said that how many type of cultural expression we have? We have a ritualistic expression, then we have a semi-ritualistic. Semi-ritualistic means, okay, ritual was nimitta, which ritual was, you can say, was a kind of reason to bring families together. But after rituals happen, what is to be done? Then the second part of the same ritual used to happen, like Gondal. Gondal is it is performed in the prayer of goddess. But after prayer, then what happens? Then these performing families called Gondalis, they start Akhan for 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and this entire, you can say, guests and audience around village is entertained throughout the night. These forms are called semi-ritualistic form. Then there was a demand, those who are not interested in ritual, those who are not interested in semi-ritual, then there is a evolution in Indian culture or Indian theater is a form of social entertainment. Like Nautanki, there is no ritual except in Natak also we do Nandi and Purvaranga. Similar way in folk theater also there is a Nandi and Purvaranga, but it is not evolved for propagating that rituals. So it is there to entertain the masses. Like Tamasha in Maharashtra, it is evolved, it is called form of social entertainment. So these are kind of entertainment, requirement of entertainment, which is you can say supplied by the performing culture of this nation. And that's why we have a variety of roots and we have variety of expressions, variety of texts, variety. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Which because I am a teacher, so I get if there is no sound, there is no reaction, then I get confused whether I am
you're
speaking,
audible.
I am
You're
speaking to a live people or they are just freezed.
No.
Sometimes it's freeze because of technical reasons, but I don't want you to freeze. I want to see your faces because you're wonderful people. And watching you on the day of Valentine Day, it's a wonderful thing. So anyway, so this kind of entertainment canvas is with India. And we must be proud of that. And we must be, as a theater community, I think I am, if you ask me where you should have taken birth, I will say India. Next birth, I will say India. 1,000 birth, I'll say India. 1,000 birth, after that, India. Why? Because it's a haven for performing arts. Say financial condition, economical conditions are not that good, but we are not discussing that today. But whatever we have, the people of this nation, people of this society has cultivated and brought these roots to us. Now it is up to us how we are going to utilize those roots, or how we are going to inspire from those roots and enrich yourself and enrich your audience, sensitize your audience culturally, aesthetically, artistically, how we are going to modify those kind of roots. So I can see how many types of theater we have based on roots. One is absolutely original, as it is theater which is evolved by the society, evolved by the time, evolved by the demand of time, situation and whatnot. Karanji used to say, हर form उस समय के मांग के मुताबिक जन्म लेता है और उसका जब क्या कहते हैं मांग खत्म होती है उसके बाद मर जाता है. So don't bother if some form is dying. It is bound to die. Means what? See, a cultural expression or performing expression takes birth because it's a demand of that time, that society, and their cultural, you can say, expression. That's why its forms takes place. I will give one example. We had this called Dandiya. It used to happen in praise of goddess Amba or goddess, whoever. Barabar hai. After some time, what happened? It has transformed from Dandiya to disco Dandiya. And now you can see in Mumbai, can somebody, ek koi aadmi zara khula rakhe apna, unmute kar le, so I can understand the breath or pulse of you people. Otherwise, it becomes like I'm talking to a black hole.
No, you can.
Okay, thank you. So what happened? That became a disco Dandiya. Now it has become a Bollywood Dandiya. मुन्नी बदनाम हुई, उसके साथ नाचते हैं लोग. शीला की जवानी के साथ लोग नाच रहे हैं. So that disco dandiya has transformed to what? Bollywood dandiya. This is how that transformation happens because of the demand of the people. You see, in one Maidan, in one stadium, you have at least 10,000 couples, young couples, dancing with each other with some very क्या कहते हैं, mediocre singer, and paying 5,000, 3,000, 2,000 for their entry into the premises. So this is what? This is also culture. We should be not ridicule this. This is the demand of people, demand of masses. So it is said that it changes. The whole culture changes with the demand of the society, with the pressure of the society, and we must accept that. So that observation of late B.V. Karanji was my guru, who has inspired me a lot. I think we must accept that. So this is what happens. So we have original forms, tribal forms we have, folk forms we have classical form. Even yet Kuriatam happens is the only क्या कहते हैं उसको existing expression based on Natya Shastra. Rest of the Natya Shastra is not used by theatre people, which was written for theatre. It is used by dance people. It is used by Bharatnatyam people, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, then Kathak, and so many, Manipuri and Ankiya Nat up to. It is used by them. It was written for theatre people, which was not used as much it was desired or as much as it was expected. So this is what we have. Now I was talking about how many ways of doing theatre we have. One is original existing forms we have. Second, then there was a trend in theatre community. So let's use these forms as it is. Then so many productions happened. That stage also came in theatre. For example, Habib Saab went to Nacha people and he started utilizing Nacha. Sanya Bhai Kotwal is a very famous play, as you know, based on Tamasha. So Tamasha was used as it is. Jasma Odhan, it was based on Bhavai, so it was used. So many, like Gauri, production of Gauri, Bhanu Bharti ji did that production, inspired or utilized Gauri form of tribal community from Rajasthan, and that production was very famous production. Lakshapati Raja Ne Kathe, for example, by B. Jayashree, or Kariyatam Kutti. I think it was some, I might be not pronouncing it properly, but anyway, these productions.
Karim Kutti.
Karim Kutti, yes. So these productions were based on those form directly, like Jambul Akhyan is based on you see Gondar, or Khandova Lagin based on Wagya Murali. So these productions came up and they have created a different attraction in the mind of audience. This was yet another way of doing theatre, root-based theatre. Third was the people realized, no, hum Kathakali kyun karenge? We cannot do Kathakali as good as Kalamandalam people can do it. So let's utilize that. And then yet another stream of utilizing the form came together, and it is called a composite form, mixed form. Yahan se kuch le lo, wahan se kuch le lo, wahan se kuch le lo sab. So it has become a decorative piece. For example, Ghashiram Kotwal. It has a strong content, but as far as forms are concerned, it starts with Naman, then enters into Kawali, then enters into Lavani, then enters into Bhajan, then enters into so many forms. Similar way, there are so many productions. Those are based in that. Mahanirvan is inspired from Kirtana, and it was used Kirtan to narrate a new narrative. So these kind of composite, mix it. So many theatre people started picking up something good colors from one form, good dance and movement from other form, good visuals from third form, and trying to create their own expression, and that still practice is going on. It is not dead. It's going on. This is the third way of doing it. fourth way of doing theater based on a root is studying those forms, studying many forms, and getting inspired from them, not using them as it is, not using them as it is, not imitating them as it is, not a single movement, not a single repeat, not a single, you can say, costume. These things are used as the source of beginning, source to get inspired. The production, most of the production I did, is it falls in this kind of tradition. For example, Gazab Teri Yada, recent production which I directed for NSD Repertory, this form is not available anywhere on this planet, which was your form for that kind of text. Even in Zulua, for that matter, it was not inspired or it was not imitated. We have not imitated a single form. We have not made a khichdi of many forms and created a cultural expression. But we have evolved the form. So this is yet another modern thinking. Okay, I have a India, but I don't want to imitate India because I'm not supposed to. But I have thousands of resources. I will understand, I will digest them and evolve something new, new theater language, new theater based on Indian roots. And I think this kind of experiment happened. Production like Karna Bharam did by Chandradasan, I have seen that. I could see that he is trying to evolve something and he's not following tradition or he's not imitating something. Production Mohepia was also that type, or Janeman for that matter. Those who might have seen the production Janeman, it was not based on, it was based on eunuch's life, but there was no form of eunuchs, whatever performing forms. So we had to evolve some kind of way of putting that text in front of the people. So production like Chanda Bidini for that, Alak Nandan directed Chanda Bidini production. He inspired, he got, because of the, it was based on a Bidini, Bidi banane wali auraton ke life pe natak tha. So this kind of productions happen, and now in modern time it is happening more. Like Sanjay Upadhyay is doing something very interestingly as far as his tradition is concerned. So there are so many people. I'm not taking others' name. That doesn't mean that they are not relevant. They are relevant, but wherever their names comes because of the flow of the content, I'm taking their names. But those who have contributed in whatever way, whether use the original form, whether imitate original forms or mixed forms, or got inspired. So these are the four ways of doing contemporary modern theater, which is happening at this moment. And I think it's the biggest practice. One quest was in my mind when I have seen Habib Tanvir's Saab's production. I have seen Ratan Thiam's so many productions, so many times. I have seen Kavalam Narayan Panikar's productions. I worked with him some time also. Then I have seen Kanhaiya Lal. Kanhaiya Lal was a unique person. He used to use his tradition, but you cannot, his tradition was not reflecting in his cultural expression. But overall, after seeing the production, you can say this is Indian production. This cannot be European production. This cannot be Australian production. But this is very much Indian production. I still remember the Pebet production directed by him. I think Hema might be remembering that. We were in first year and we have seen that production in a basement with the tube lights. And they have performed as a demo, and we were all students and teachers were in tears at the end of that production. So this is what is expected from modern theater directors, young directors, and some of them are absolutely going towards that, because you cannot expectation in 3-4 production that a person will create his own language or theater language or newness. One needs to give them time, 5 productions, 10 productions, and then one realize, okay, my God, I can do miracle with these roots. I can do miracle. I can create a new jungle of new thinking. I can create a new jungle of new text, new way of doing it, new styles, new forms, and as per requirement of my today's time. And this is how If those roots help us to express today's complexity, then and then it is relevant. Otherwise, it is irrelevant. We should forget and start searching new. Because we should not be traditionalists. We should not be Puritans. Oh, no, no, my tradition is great. If it is useful, if it is helping us, if it is really giving you or inspiring to do miracles, as far as theater expression is concerned, new language is concerned, new acting new acting grammar is concerned, new theatrical visuals are concerned, new imagery is concerned, and trying to help us in communicating my today's pain and pleasure, then we should be proud of our roots. Then we should be proud of our tradition. Then we should be very sensitive towards that. And I think at least another 1,000 years, roots of Indian tradition, roots of Indian culture, roots of Indian theater will not be exhausted if even though thousands and thousands teachers and directors struggle with them, get inspired with them, because it is a non-exhaustive tradition of Indian performing culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wamanji, for covering the whole gamut of theatre, the roots and different approaches. Now we can have a meaningful discussion about what has been said and what has left out also. So I invite you all to just unmute one by one.
Thank you so much, sir. Can I?
Yeah, sure, Anil. Just.
Yes, Anil Kumarji, you are speaking. Yes.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर, थैंक यू फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन. आपसे मिलकर बड़ी खुशी हुई.
धन्यवाद.
लेकिन ये जो आप जो बोल रहे थे, मतलब डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ थिएटर्स थे, जैसे अभी महाराष्ट्र का तमाशा हो गया, और जैसे अभी केरला का तेयम हो गया, और गुजरात में दांडिया हो गया. तरह तरह के थिएटर फॉर्म्स है, लेकिन इन सब थिएटर फॉर्म का तो कोई ना कोई एक जड़ तो होगा ना.
नहीं, that's what I said ना, कि cultural expression, whether it is a Bhavai or it's a Tayyam, it starts, evolves with the demand of that time, demand of the situation, demand of the expression, and then it's evolved. So
तो मतलब जड़ बदलते रहता है, उसका जो रूट है बदलते रहता है.
नहीं, रूट बदलता नहीं है, रूट वही रहता है, पेरी बदलती है. You can have a different branches, you can have different flowers, but roots will remain the same. And as long as roots are firm, then that culture is very, you can say, durable culture. You cannot shake that tree easily. If it is so easily you can do it, then you can say it is a very thin type of performing roots or thin type of cultural tradition.
But how is it different from other cultures like European और जैसे अभी दूसरे कल्चर है, उससे कैसे अलग है हमारा कल्चर?
यही explain किया मैंने. I have explained that it is absolutely different because it has a variety, because we believe in it, and it is created by people. It is not created by some kind of intellectual sitting together and created something. No, there is a thought, there is a intellectual thinking, but not done by one person. It is done by the community. It is done by the society, and that's why entire thinking of society, entire emotional, you can say, gamut of society, emotional expression of society, you can say there is a Shraddha also. Because it evolved out of Shraddha, it evolved out of nature's call, it evolved out of Bhaya. Say, why we started praying gods? It is because the nature was beyond understanding. So wherever things happen in our life, beyond understanding and beyond control, we start believing something because of fear or because of Shraddha. So all these things are at the root of our cultural expression.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, sir. I'm Vijayan, Maur Vijayan from Kerala.
Yes, Vijay.
I was just listening.
Well.
Huh?
Yes,
yes, sir. I was listening your valuable words, sir. This root and root plus theater. It was very much informative. But starting only, I had a small doubt. In the rootless theater, I don't know. You used the word, what is rootless theater? That progressive word you used there.
No,
And
no.
I was in doubt whether this word progressive is really connected with root or rootless theater. You are really, one more doubt. You are really talking about Kavalam Narayana Panikar and G. Shankarapilla, just a progressive theater. Karutta Deivate Thedi. You may know that theater.
No, I know.
Work, very valuable work. So that word progressive, I may be wrong. You may explain. Just you may explain.
I will, Vijayanji, I will. Progressive, I said, so-called progressive people say they are doing theater.
Okay.
You have not understood, probably got my adjective, so-called. See, theater is basically progressive form of expression.
Correct.
Any theater. Even if you do with the traditional mind, it will never remain.
Yes.
You will connect that to your contemporary life. You will connect it to the present times. So, I said, irrelevant thing, you cannot call it a progressive.
Okay.
See, even street theater is a progressive theater. It is a meaningful theater. I'm just saying that doing meaningful theater, whatever way, maybe it's abstract, maybe it's absurd, maybe it's beyond your understanding, but you have some sincere motive, then it is absolutely progressive. Theater basically is a nature. It is anti-establishment. One. Second, it's a progressive because theater वालों को कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. Maybe he may use sugar-coated content, or he may go straight to the street theater and say ये होना चाहिए नहीं होना चाहिए. So I call so-called. I mean, those who cannot do relevant theater, meaningful theater, it was just a joke actually.
So pardon me, sir. That so-called was silent.
No, I'm absolutely progressive for progressive thinking and progressive theater.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You're very
Wamanji.
Yes.
Wamanji, I think actually much more clear if you can explain what you have done with Madhyama Yoga. Means you spoke about the form, but what about the content? How was it becoming progressive? So that people might not have seen the production. So how you deal a text and how you make a theater out of it. So you can explain a little about.
Yes, I know you know the story of Madhyama Yoga written by Bhasa, Mahakavi Bhasa. It is a story of Bhima, Hidamba, and their son Ghatotkacha. So when I read the play, I directed that play initially for the students of Academy of Theatre Arts, Mumbai University as its first production. Then I did as Bhasa has written it, and with some kind of structuring rearrangements. After a few years, I realized we as a you can say, whoever comes as a speed breaker in our own well-being, our thinking, we call that person enemy, and we distort the image of that character. Like Hidamba, we even now we ridicule to a woman who is not good looking or something like that. So I realized this is a wonderful play written by Bhasa and given threads to rediscovery. Then I wrote that play, rewritten the play, reorganized the play with the point of view of Hidamba. Hidamba was not a kurup or not ugly. She was a wonderful looking, beautiful looking lady, because she was a princess of her own kingdom, which called Hidambavana. So I thought that I must write this play in different way, and I could find out the politics of Aryans against Dravidians, Aryans against Aborigines, you can say, if you want to use word in different way. So I realized that yes, it gives a different connotation. Bhima was from Aryan community and he fallen in love with Hidamba, and Hidamba from Dravidian community or tribal communities, he fallen in love with Bhima. Then what happened? Bhima Bhim wanted to marry her, and Bhim never indicated to marry her. But she said, okay, we cannot, we are in love with each other, but you will have to marry me. And then we can have a kind of Valentine interaction. So he said, but it's not in our hand. You will have to go to my mother, Kunti ji, and get her permission. She went to Kunti. Here in Aryan, we have a patriarchic family system. And in tribes, or like Nayars in Kerala, we have Matra Satta Kutum Paddhati, or what is it called in English?
Patriarchy.
Matriarchal family system. So the Kunti said, I have no problem because you have fallen in love with each other and you can marry him. But the preparation of war is going on and he cannot come to your house to live with you. Then she has given option, okay, no problem. He can stay as long as he wants to. After I conceive a baby, it will be his option whether to live with him or not. So they got married, and ultimately he got the news that she conceived child, and then Bhim went to his own way to prepare for a war. And after 18 years, he came back because of some different reason. His son Ghatotkacha was a powerful warrior, and one day he captured Bhima, he tied him and brought to the mother. So this is how that story is, and there is a confrontation about the politics between Arya and tribes, how they have used Hidamba and what not. And she asked, when he realizes my son is so powerful and he will be very helpful to me in Kurukshetra war. So he requests, please give me my son back. She is asking whether you want your son or you want a warrior. Whether this is a new way of doing politics again with me. So these kind of questions he poses. And ultimately, he provokes the child because he is a warrior. He said, this will be the Mahayuddha. After this, the warriors of this nation will not get a chance to show their shaurya. And this is how he provokes the Bhima, this Ghatotkacha, and Ghatotkacha goes to a war, and he killed in the war. This is what that politics is. And that play has become relevant because of these changes, and it is so you can say impactful play. Those who have seen, they might be knowing it about.
I would love to add that it was a kind of a progressive approach in two different ways. One, the classical text has been revisited, reinterpreted, and related to the contemporary Indian reality. It's not just about the time when the Aryans came and the Dravida, those periods. It's about the actual day. Today's time. What happens between the high caste, low caste, all those things. So that is one kind of progressiveness in interpreting and understanding a classic route. And the other thing was the performative form in which it has been made into. Means the new theatre, the new direct theatre, and the power you could give into the words of Hidimba. So how we can voice her in the context of the performance.
It is a kind of a today's female voice.
Yes.
I mean, those suppressed, depressed, you can say the women from lower strata of the community, or underprivileged society, women from underprivileged society, it was voice of them. Hidamba represent them in front of present system. See, whatever play we do, if it has to be progressive, then it has to be contemporary.
Yes.
We cannot do traditional piece and hypnotize people. Okay, people will say, "Bahut acha, good, very nice," but they need to take something along with them to their home. They need to be disturbed. They need to be kept thinking. They need to be give something. It is not only disturbing is the motive of theatre, but they need to carry something, either form, either content, new interpretation, new thinking, new posing questions, new disturbances, new complexity. Something has to be given to them, and then we can say, oh, it's a contemporary play, or it's a modern play, or it's a progressive play.
Yeah, thank you, Amanji, for explaining what is the progressiveness and contemporaneity of revisiting the roots. It's not just going to a museum and seeing something else. It's relating to our life, to our times, to our own sensitivity.
Yes, and I always say that the play has to take side of the people, those are standing at the lowest, you can say, step up your ladder. If we don't look at them, if we don't take side, even theater community or people from literature or people from films, they are there to voice, give them voice, give their issues, throw their issues. Like Janeman was play based on eunuchs. I could have done that play in Mumbai with Nasiruddin Shah wanted to act in that play, and Paresh Rawalji wanted to act in that play. But I thought that I should direct that play for NSD Repertory Company, comparatively less known actors. But due to that, it has given a platform for this eunuchs problem on a national platform. The side effect of that play is the after 4, 5 years or 6, 7 years, the bill came into the parliament. I mean, this is what the role of theater has to be play or contribute as far as social transformation, social changes, new thinking, new way, and new kind of expression. This is what the role of real theater, meaningful theater people's role is that.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, Ushaji.
I just want to ask you a question. You talked about the roots.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said that they are very, very important. Now we have plays, Shakespeare's plays, say Macbeth, whatever it is. They can be adapted to an Indian condition. What do you think of this adaptation?
No, why not to adapt? Because I have also did Oedipus as Veda Pasha. And it was adapted at in the background of Rajasthan.
That's true. That's
with the Rajasthani flavor in Hindi language. Yes. I think whatever is the best, we should borrow. I am not that kind of. We should be more flexible, more open, more experiments should happen.
Because people are the same. The emotions are the same all over.
See, if I do a Shakespearean play in Shakespearean way, it becomes so ridiculous.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Ushaji, I have seen at least thousands of plays done in translation.
Yes.
With Shakespearean costumes, Shakespearean swords and all that. See, that Indian body doesn't carry those costumes, unfortunately. I don't want to name those productions. You see, the play remains different, actor remain different, and there is no gelling.
Yes.
If it is adapted to in our own way, then that content go across. Naam badal jayenge, name will be changed. What happens? Instead of Macbeth, it would be Maqbul. What is the problem?
That's true.
But at least the Maqbul कौन है क्या है लोगों को समझ में तो आएगा. So we should able, because see, unless we handle such text, wonderful text, those who are classics, those who are you can say highest order as far as writing is concerned, it gives us so much to think, so much to inspire, so much to interpret, so much to do something new. Why not? We should do that too.
And just one comment. You are a professor and your lecture is very, very academic, very, very interesting. खूपच छान झालं. ऐकून बरं वाटलं.
Thank you. तुमचे खूप आभार.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, Marji.
हाँ. Waman, आपने पहले सब thank you so much for such an enriching talk. आपने बोला कि आप बहुत अच्छी टीचर भी हैं, आपको टीचिंग में भी बहुत मजा आता है. I just want to ask you, how does this going back to your roots helps you as a teacher, as a trainer, because you have been doing so many workshops on voice and speech and acting. Does it help you? I mean,
yes.
When I was working with the Kavlamji, as he did a play with us, Matte Vilas, and I was doing the main role of Dev Soma in repertory in NSD. So he had a kind of training for us For a very long time, he did the training with us. So have you been able to evolve a kind of training method, or how does it help you?
See, we have to evolve our own way of doing Indian theater. No Stanislavski is going to help us. We are using Indian roots, and if we are using the Western methods to train actors, it is not going to jail. Somewhere, yes, definitely, why not?
Yes.
But you have to evolve your own way, and I think Natya Shastra is the biggest source.
Yes. Yes, true.
Yesterday only I was talking about the how emotion takes birth, like a theory of vikaras. I was teaching in acting class, and I have evolved some exercise, new exercise to make students understand them online, because offline I could have done something different. But we have so much theory, we have to derive some kind of grammar or some kind of training methodology from folk, some from tribal theater, because they have, say, unity. I is not important in tribal expression. It is always we is important. हम important है, मैं important नहीं हूँ. See, this is what theater spirit is. Theater, Vansi Kaul हमेशा कहा करते थे. Unfortunately, he is no more. We lost him last week, and it's the biggest loss of Indian theater. He used to say कि if मान लो कि दुनिया में प्रलय आएगा, प्रलय means disaster जब होगा, तो last group will remain on the planet will be of theater community, because they know how to hold hands, though they fight with each other a lot. So they know how to hold each other's hand after third bell. Maybe before third bell there could be dispute, this could be so many tensions, stresses, whatever. But third bell and they are together. It's like a warriors. It's like a soldiers. They are together. So this is how one should understand. We have so much grammar. We have so much tradition. See, if you see one form, they have their own methodology to train an actor or dancer in their own way. For example, in Tamasha, say timing and humor, they have their own way. So we have to derive something from them. In say Parsi theater style, a stylization, which is, you can compare that with the Kudiyatam. So we can derive something from both the traditions, and this is how we have to train our actors. See, theory of main emotion and subsidiary emotions or decorative emotion is nowhere prevailed on any kind of books as far as theater writing is concerned, but it is in the Natya Shastra. We are not revisiting those roots again. So as a teacher, we must revisit all this. I am not against whatever is the best in the world, we must imbibe and make it our own. Okay. But what we have also be rediscover, reutilize. I will give one example of play called Ranangan. It was called 70 mm, first 70 mm play on Marathi stage. I have selected some 25, 30 actors out of 300 actors audition. I have selected, I don't want a single actor, those who have acted before on stage. It was absolutely new actors, except one or two. So we have trained them from martial art to dance movement, to speech, to emotional expression, to characterization. Indian way of characterization. This Ranangan play was based on Third War of Panipat. Why Marathas defeated in Third War of Panipat? What is that स्वभाव दोष of Indian people? जब भी war होता है तो हम defeat क्यों होते हैं? जैसे शिवाजी महाराज क्यों जीतते थे and बाकी लोग क्यों हारे? So that kind of play was that, and that entire group of actor was trained for 120 days, and then I started rehearsals. And you will believe, you might have seen that came to Bharat Rang Mahotsav also, that performed more than 700 times. It was a huge play. Costume was designed by Bhanu Athaiya ji, and so many great people contributed in different aspects of theater. And those actors, nobody, now they are all superstars of Marathi theater and films. So one can We have to evolve our own way of doing theatre training also, academically, grammatically, you can say skill-wise, and also enhancing their pratibha. What we are lacking is we teach so many grammars and skills, but what about enhancing pratibha, inner persona of that actor? So we need to take help of our roots, which it helps a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope you got some.
No, it's very nice.
Thank you.
Continuing with the question of
Sorry.
Yes. Who was there? Anil?
Yes, sir. नहीं, आपने जो बोला था adaptability के बारे में एक अच्छा concept बोला था. Continuing with that question of adaptability, we as an organization were also trying to see how theatre can be used to train our employees, on various aspects. And we had also approached Chandradasan sir also, and he had also helped us to a certain extent. तो इसके बारे में आपका क्या राय है सब, जैसे थिएटर इन कॉर्पोरेट
मेरी राय कोई बुरी राय नहीं है उसके बारे में. Even I did some workshops with Godrej and some workshop other industries and RBI people, but that is okay. But at the end of the day, I realize I am not born to train these people. I born to train my creative people. Enhancing the production of some industrialist is not my aim of my life. Ultimately, yes, it gave me money. They wanted me to join permanently with them and with so much money and so much offers. But I thought that it should not be my preference, and that was my 25-30 years back decision. But sometimes it's in social aspect. For example, I work with underprivileged children. I work with the people in jail. Sometimes, whenever I get time. So it is a meaningful contribution. If someone wants to if we want to earn money from such thing and support theatre, why not? This is also yet another good way of doing good theatre.
Because पैसे की बात नहीं है साहब, इसमें क्या होता है कि कभी-कभी स्किल्स जो एनहांसमेंट होता है ना, अभी जो ट्रेडिशनल ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम से कुछ हटके, a separate way of training people to bring out the expression. क्योंकि कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि आप जैसे बोला इंडस्ट्रियल इसमें रैट रेस रहता है, तो रैट रेस से अलग से थोड़ा सा करके you bring out the expression from inside the people and make them much more happier.
No, Dubey ji, apna Pillai ji, Anil ji, if someone is doing, I will definitely support and welcome.
So coming back to theatre, anybody else to come with any questions or comments, please.
How many people are there? I have not seen faces of the people, at least.
Now there are 26 here and some people in Facebook also.
I know. बहुत सारे लोग हैं.
Yeah. Anybody else with any questions, comments? Deepti Yadav, are you asking anything?
Sir, may I?
Yes, who is this?
Deepti Yadav, are you asking anything? If you are not, yes, then come on. Deepti Yadav first, then Deepak.
So as you said, a theatre based on a unique culture takes up the values of the people on ground of a specific region. Can we say that it is one of the downsides of a theatre based on roots? Because along with the good values, we also take on the things which are morally incorrect from the region, so that it could be pleasing for the audience and further propagate them.
No, I think I have given you answer. It is a mirror of the society, and we are not here to only please the audience. Our duty is to disturb the audience, make them think, internalize our issues in their mind, and come with rational, you can say, responses.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Deepak, introduce yourself. Tell us where you are from and then ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Namaskar, Sarji. I am Deepak from Mumbai. Namaskar, sir. Sir, just a wider canvas you had given to the Indian masses and the global masses. Adiranga to Theatre Olympics. Sir, आम्हाला काय घ्यायला मिळेल? Means you have given a lot, but how the new generation should take the inspiration from this, what you had done a lot to the Indian society. Adiranga is our roots, local. Now global, you have done the Theatre Olympics, sir.
Yeah,
So
because
please.
that is what I think Chandradasan initially indicated, that it was a big challenge to make National School of Drama really national and international. National means not in metros, but it should every artist in the nook and corner should have a feeling that I belong to this institution and this institution belong to me. This bond, creating bond between artist and an institution was a big challenge. But now it is a history for me, whether I did this or I did that. Now I don't remain in the history, because I have a habit to erase whatever I have done in previous play. I have to start something new. I have to think something new. Okay, that time, that was a situation, that was a support. Unfortunately, entire theatre community of this nation, government of India, and people connected with this, they all helped, and they did miraculous theatre Olympics, 8 theatre Olympics, and it was one of the biggest theatre event of the history of not only Indian theatre but the world theatre. In 51 days, 1500 shows, and in 17 cities, different parts of the cities. So that was that India can do that. That was a kind of a spirit. And National School of Drama, of course, every person in National School of Drama premises has contributed like anything. So this ये गोवर्धन पर्वत है, ये एक आदमी से नहीं उठता है, उसको बहुत सारी गोपाल ग्वाले चाहिए, ग्वालन चाहिए, तब कोई बात बनती है. So that has happened, but for me now I see it as a history, because I have no habit of remaining and in nostalgia and utilizing that to make self pleasure. Now I'm thinking something new. I am trying to do some new kind of theater, trying to evolve something different, maybe doing some kind of a different films, maybe, I don't know. So the thinking is in that way. One thing I would like to wrap up is that what are the possibilities of theater of roots in future? No national, but individual theater or local theater possibilities are immense. Theater of roots will be always Asmita of Indian theater. If you count milestone plays after independence, you will realize that big number of plays are from this track of theater roots. अगर हम पिछले 50 साल का इतिहास ले ले, हमने रियलिस्टिक थिएटर भी किया, उसमें भी कोई बहुत अच्छे नाटक आ गए, कोई एब्स्ट्रैक्ट भी किया, एब्सर्ड भी किया, बहुत आ गए. पर if you want to give 50 productions of Indian theater after independence, तो उसमें से कम 60-65% production will be you will have to identify from the inspired or based or connected to the roots of theater. You may take it Ghanshiram Kotwal, you may take it as Haivadana, or so number of production, Charandas Sor and Gandher Nagari. So thousands of play I can indicate. The plays done by NSD Repertory Company, Jasma Odan and Sanya Bhai Kotwal, and so many. And production done by individuals like Karna Bharam of by Chandradasan, or this Pashu Gayatri by Bhanu Bharti, Ala Apsar by Bansi Kaulji, Ratan Thiam's Chakraview, Waman Kendre, Zulwa Janeman, whatever. There's so many. I mean, productions like Jambul Akhyans. So many gamut of productions, galaxy of directors evolved, came up, arrived at a national stage or international stage because they had something to say and they were having tools which was connected to our roots. And I think this tradition will go on because our tradition is not of a realistic theater. We are not a Lokadharmi, but we are always a Natyadharmi people. हमारे पास एक छोटी कहानी है तो उस कहानी को इतना बड़ा बनाने की परंपरा है, चाहे दादी हो, दादा हो, whoever is there, who is narrating story with a stylization, with exaggeration, with making things big, larger than life size. That is the demand of our psyche, our emotion, our state of mind, and our expression. So ultimately, we'll have to get connected. We'll have to keep connected with our and get inspired, maybe in whatever way you can. So there should not be hard and fast rule. This is right and that is wrong. But those who will get connected, see musical traditions, see dansical traditions, see visual traditions. So इसीलिए दृश्य श्राव्य काव्य कब निर्माण होगा, नाटक की जो व्याख्या है, दृश्य भी इन सारी ट्रेडिशन से होगा, श्राव्य होगा, और काव्य जो है एस्थेटिकल एक्सपीरियंस, एस्थेटिकल एक्सपीरियंस, sensitize the audience, enriching the audience will came only through this kind of connectivity. And others, those people are doing really meaningful theater, really experimental theater. I have a tremendous regards and honor for them in my mind.
Upendra, are you asking something, Upendra?
Sir, may I? This is Pradeep.
Pradeep, go ahead.
Sir, Waman sir, you gave example of Dandiya dance on Shila Ki Jawani. Okay, that is the change we are seeing in the current life. Okay, like that, our roots, they have a lot of culture, lot of folks, lot of forms. They might have died because of these changes.
Yes,
so are we doing anything to keep them alive? Any government authority, any trust or something
No,
kind of that?
I have because I'm not a person from government at this moment.
Yeah.
So I should not have any answer. But as said, as Karanji, as a scholar says that when a form evolve with the requirement of the time, requirement of the society, requirement of the country, requirement of that mahol, and when it serves the purpose, and when it is purpose is lost, then it is bound to die. But it never dies. It transforms into new energy. It transforms into new way of expression. I was giving expression of Dandiya. I don't support that Dandiya should be danced on the Sheila Ki Jawani or whatever songs, this kind of Bollywood commercial. It, we will say that it should remain original. But even tamasha, like tamasha, if you want to go for tamasha, now it is very difficult to find out original tamasha. Now it has become almost orchestra, almost Sangeet Bari, because of the demand of the people. Because these are the forms of social entertainment. जो लोग जिसके लिए पैसा देंगे वही आर्टिस्ट को करना पड़ता है, और मेनी टाइम्स थिएटर वालों को भी करना पड़ता है. Unfortunately, what happens in commercial theater is the same. So now you should be one of them who doesn't surrender to the box office demands. Rather, we should compel box office to come to us and our different way of doing theater, different way of doing music, different way of doing dance, wherein audience will get a chance to enhance, enrich their sensitivity towards cultural understanding.
Upendra,
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Pradeep. Pradeep is my student since long. He acted in my first play called Zulwa.
Yeah, I am associated with him for 30 long years.
Hello.
Yes, Upendra ji.
Yes, sir. Sir, it was really wider in a broader perspective. You introduced the term roots in connection to the theater arts, but I always have, when I work with people from urban, there is a question. Roots is not there and it is not an issue, but the issue is to which route you are going to get connect and work. Because in urban, people doesn't have a specific lineage or a root or a kind of a knowledge which has been carried out for many years together. In that sense, people are actually, theater people are nowadays actually little confused of what does the root means, and then by connecting to which route I can work. For example, when I visited in Rajasthan, my theater friend belonged to West Bengal and he is in Rajasthan for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
So to what roots he has to connect and do the work? And what sort of work will come out when a guy who is from different place and who has his a settlement in other places, because it is connected to the next week presentation also, because
Yeah.
there is no one place where people live, no sir.
I understood your problem because we have faced it in different productions.
Yes, sir.
Because there could be two ways of doing it. One is pertaining to one form and digging out the roots. Going in deep for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, like in Kudiyatam.
Yeah.
The solo performer don't get chance if you are not 15, 20 years trained person. Like in other forms also, in many forms, you don't get, only theater you can get trained within 1 week and you can be professional. See, we'll have to change our mindset also. If you want to discover or get connected, it's not only understanding the roots, it is the, on the contrary, understanding and then digesting first. And then coming out with something new. This is a very lengthy process. But in short, it is not possible for me to understand the roots of Rajasthani performing tradition. Okay, from outside I can understand few things, but I should have some kind of experience of my own tradition. Then we can ask if this is better, this is not better, this could be useful, this could be not useful. But going to one form and one root or roots of one expression is going to say becoming a master of that style. Okay, so that is one way. Then second way, which usually we theater people have to follow, understand this, understand that, like actors training, for example. We teach them Kalari, which is from South. We teach them Thangtha from Manipur. We teach them Chau from Odisha and Bengal. We teach them Rope Malkham from Maharashtra. It is not that to make that person expert of one form. Rather imbibe multidisciplinary training and digest them. And get ready to such a production, basically, to understand and start working with the vision of the director. If my rhythm is good, if I understand the timing, if my body is flexible, if I know the few basic dances, because it is very difficult to create a training for modern actor. This is what we are struggling in a National School of Drama also. For a particular style, then what happens? You are basically trained for music, you are trained for a movement, you are trained for acting, you are trained for characterization, vagera, vagera. And then when do your Parsi style production, then there would be inputs from Parsi style for a little longer time, or production based on Yakshagana, or production based on Kudiyatam, or production based on Tamasha. So one has to follow one way. So your actor cannot be well versed in everything. He may, but after 30 years, 40 years of training, keep on doing. Even if you want to be Bharatanatyam expert, it takes at least 25 to 30 years. If you want to be expert of Kathak, then it takes around 15 to 20, 25 years. The similar way, we have to think in that direction. So, एक महीना हम आ गए workshop production किया, if you ask that it should be milestone, it will never happen. It may happen as an exception, but sure shot it will not happen, because it requires a tremendous patience, tremendous efforts, tremendous mehnat to create some kind of body-mind setup of an actor. So you will have to follow something or the other. So what we target what way I want to do this production, and what kind of training might be required for an actor to perform in this play. So we plan that in advance, mahina, 2 mahina, 3 mahina, and uske baad then we start production. So this is way, like Ratan Thiamji says, he cannot do production with other actors because he needs 1 year to direct a play. Even I cannot do production in 2 months and 3 months. Even for Janeman, I took 3 months with the NSD Repertory Company. Because you are doing something new. New दुनिया को क्रिएट करना है और हम एक रात में कैसे करेंगे? So one has to think in this direction. Probably you may get solution which I indicated, but you will form you all your own solutions to do your own theater, and that is why all even young directors of this country are struggling with these ideas, but they are trying to create. If you work with the same actor for say 5 years, 10 years, then कुछ बात बनना शुरू हो जाती है दोनों के बीच में, actor and director के बीच में. Tries to understand your by just one look whether you liked it or not. So that kind of tuning has to be created amongst yourself.
Very nice, sir. Well said, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And,
Hello.
one second. There's a question in Facebook, Waman ji. Vijay, yes, has typed the question. It's what are your thoughts on postmodernism?
I have very good thoughts for postmodernism. That is also one way of expression. See, as far as that postmodernism is expressing something, trying to create a new theater language, trying to create some kind of new expression is welcome. It is the gamut of, you can say, galaxy of theater understanding of nation is very vast. You may like this, you may not like this, but we must learn to respect each and every expression of theater face. हमारा इंडियन थिएटर कोई कमर्शियल थिएटर नहीं, कोई एक्सपेरिमेंटल थिएटर नहीं, कोई एमेटर थिएटर नहीं है, कोई पैरेलल थिएटर नहीं है. इट्स अ ह्यूज थिएटर. रावण के तो 10 मुख थे, थिएटर के तो 100 से ज्यादा मुख है. यहाँ पर पथनाट्य है, बाल नाट्य है, दलित थिएटर है, अबोरिजिन का थिएटर है, किसानों का थिएटर है, आदिवासियों का थिएटर है, वंचितों का थिएटर. किसका थिएटर नहीं है? बिकॉज थिएटर एक ही बात है ना, जहां पर मैं अपनी बात जाके दिखा सकता हूं, एंड इट हैज एन इम्पैक्ट. सो whatever way, it's absurd theater, abstract theater, postmodern, ultra postmodern, everything is welcome, and we should respect all those with sanctity and honor.
Amol Deshmukh, you are trying to ask something, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where is Amol?
Sir.
Yes, Amol.
सर, बहुत खुशी हुई आपको यहाँ लोकधर्मी में देखकर. आपको सुनना मेरे लिए हमेशा से ही प्रेरणादायी रहा है. जब भी मैं आपका स्टूडेंट रहा,
लोकधर्मी प्लेटफॉर्म पे मैं नाट्य धर्मी बात कर रहा हूँ.
इसलिए बहुत खुशी हुई सर. जब आपका स्टूडेंट रहा तब भी, और आपके साथ काम करने का मौका मिला तब भी, हमेशा से ही आपकी बातें जो है मुझे प्रेरणा देती रही है. आपका रंगमंच तो हमें हमेशा ही प्रेरणा देता है. जब मैं आपको सुन रहा था, मेरे मन में एक सवाल आया कि आशय, कंटेंट और उसकी प्रस्तुति, प्रेजेंटेशन, इसका प्रमाण क्या होना चाहिए? ये मेरे मन में सवाल इसलिए आया क्योंकि बहुत से निर्देशकों को जब मैं देखता हूं तो उनके नाटकों में केवल बाहरी रूप जो है, क्योंकि जब हम इंडियन रूट्स की बात करते हैं तो इंडियन स्टाइल के नाटक बाहरी रूप में तो दिखते हैं, लेकिन कंटेंट में उतनी सशक्तता हमें देखने को नहीं मिलती है. तो इसका क्या प्रमाण होना चाहिए? आप क्या
शायद आपने बहुत कम नाटक देखे हैं, सशक्त नाटक देखने का मौका नहीं मिला आपको, शायद कम मिला होगा. पर ऐसा नहीं है, इसका कोई प्रमाण नहीं है कि चाय में इतनी पत्ती चाहिए, इतना दूध चाहिए, इतनी चीनी चाहिए, इतनी इलायची चाहिए, इतने स्पाइसेस चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. आई थिंक दैट कंटेंट डिमांड्स द प्रोपोर्शन. सो डायरेक्टर शुड हैव अ सेंस कि मेरा कंटेंट कितना स्ट्रांग है और उसके लिए कौन सा फॉर्म है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मोहे पिया में आज 7-8 पेजेस का इंटायर स्क्रिप्ट इज ऑफ 7-8-9 पेजेस, but the performance is of 95 minutes, and that is a spellbound performance. It all depends on the text. For example, Janeman, uska form and content they gel together. So iska kisi ka bhi pramaan zyada ho gaya ki content zyada ho gaya to verbose play ho jayega, केवल विजुअल लैंग्वेज का प्रमाण ज्यादा हो गया और कंटेंट वो झेल नहीं पा रहा है, दैट कंटेंट इज अनेबल टू बेयर दैट बोझ ऑफ विजुअल्स, सो वो विजुअल का नाटक हो जाएगा. आई थिंक दैट कंटेंट डिक्टेट्स द प्रोपोर्शन, व्हाट प्रोपोर्शन यू शुड हैव एंड व्हाट प्रोपोर्शन यू शुड नॉट हैव. There cannot be a parameter कि 60% टेक्स्ट चाहिए, 40%, इसलिए दृश्य और श्राव्य का मिश्रण, मिलाप उतना ही चाहिए जितना आवश्यक है। वो जितना आवश्यक है उतना अगर मिल जाए तो रेसिपी बढ़िया होगी ही होगी, ऑब्वियसली। तो वो काव्य अनुभूति में ट्रांसफर होगी। That will transform into काव्य अनुभूति, which is called aesthetic experience, or we can call it a कलात्मक अनुभूति, or we call it a artistic experience, or artistic enhancement of the mind and soul of the audience. So it has to be in proportion with the text demand, and not imposition of director's vision, or not the imposition of actor's vision on the text, and vice versa, or writer's imposition on production vision. It has to be in proportion as per as demand, and every production, every play, every content will have different demands. So we have to understand that inner demand, inner soul of the content, how, what way he is asking to express himself. Because I always say the text demand, text provokes you to evolve form. Text inspires you to evolve form, or evolve theater language around it. The way it demands, one has to go with the demand and not with my preconception and set ideas of that theater.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else with the last question, anything like that? If anybody would love to ask a question or comment, you're welcome right now. Lilita Bai, I think you are about to ask something.
No, I'm a very new student of this, and I'm Sir's student, and I'm very happy that I attended today, because all these theater details of theater forms were not known to me. I just knew broadly. So, sir, I thank you for this very informative lecture.
Welcome, welcome, Lalita ji.
Yeah. So, and sir, I think you should also think a little bit about working with senior citizens, like setting up plays and all for them, because this is very, for their minds, this is very invigorating.
We are planning some kind of workshop for only for citizens. Citizens above 60. आधार कार्ड के आधार पे करेंगे.
Thank you, sir.
Vinil, you're asking anything? No, it's okay. Hema ji, are you about to ask anything? No. Anybody else?
Chalo, I think it's lunch time now. People are starving.
Yeah,
their stomach is asking to feed something. So ऐसा कहते हैं कि भूखे आदमी को ज्ञान नहीं देना चाहिए.
Okay.
Hungry person should not be flooded with the knowledge. So I think no, I'm just joking. क्योंकि joke नहीं होगा तो मजा नहीं होता है ना.
Maybe I will ask the last question and then we will wind up this session.
Yeah.
Wamanji, when we are working with Theatre of the Roots, so we are confined to do our productions in a totally different situation. Like, see, all the Theatre of the Roots, whatever is it, traditional, folk, anything is that, it's done in an open space where there's a direct interaction with the audience and immediacy of communication, etc. But we are forced to, or limited to, the proscenium parameters with the fourth wall on this kind of grammar and the whole setup, the way of execution. So, as a director, how you felt this problem, and if you have got it, how you address it, how you try to overcome?
I think it's a very unfortunate situation as far as our performing conditions are concerned, because whatever ultimate infrastructure which we have, less infrastructure, but whatever we have is a proscenium, with fourth wall removal structure. That's why you say in all playwrights, they first starts writing a line when curtain opens. I think now we'll have to provoke people, force people, inspire people not to write when curtain opens. Whether curtain opens, curtain closed, whether is a curtain or not curtain. You should stay when a buffalo enters in the premise. So you will take theater outside these kind of premises. I think that Badal Sarkar started that movement because of this kind of so much pressure of doing theater in this four wall setup and removal of one wall. I think now this is high time for Indian theater. When we talk about the roots of Indian theater, it never happens in four wall. I mean, we have to get inspiration. If you go to any folk form, it has hardly stage. Most of the informal forms which are performed when there is audience, and who is audience and who is performer, when there is blur lines. Somebody performs sit downs and somebody, the audience first is getting up and singing and dancing and reciting dialogue. That is kind of theater which we have, which is no barricades at all between audience and performers. We belong to that tradition. That is also our root. We must explore those kind of interactive theater, you can say. We are doing that interactive theater, but that is also very calculative. For sake of interactive. नहीं, लोगों को मजा आता है थोड़ा सा दो चार लाइनें बोलने के बाद या हंसने के बाद. It should not be that. It's like Augusta Bowl, who used to do that kind of theater. He's यहाँ तक story आगे आप now tell me what should be the end, and people used to flood with ideas, and then they used to bring the audience, आप perform करके दिखाओ. See, this is what theater has to be. We call it an interactive theater, but honestly interactive, naturally interactive, which will break the barriers and inhibitions between a performer and audience. One has to go to that kind of theater. We have theater in round, like Bharud form. It never happens in three side and one side audience and one side. No. All around audience is like Tayyam. It's in Kaur or outside of that temple called Kaur. That happens. It is surrounded by people. On most of the forms are surrounded by the people, or goes in the procession like Ram Nagar ki Ram Leela or something like that. I think we have enough to get inspired, even playwriting, because he is the basic person who sticks the thinking of creative minds. So I think we have to train now our playwrights to think in theater space in different way.
Yeah. Ramanji, there's a question from Anakha Deshpande typed in Facebook.
Where is she?
Where is she? She was.
Yeah.
Are you there in Zoom?
Yes, bolo. What is your question?
Sir, we know you sing several Bharuds, which is your route. If comfortable, sing few lines before ending the session. That is her request. So I will ask you, can you just describe the Bharud? Because we in South, or we do not know what's that form itself.
Bharud is a form, very informal kind of form. It is a theater in round. Performers are in center and people are sitting around or standing around or whatever way. It is an interpretation of poems written by saints. And this interpretation done by the rural folks, they done by the farmers, people working on farms or somewhere else. So those people perform these kind of forms, which is like interpretation of those poetry or poems, which is particularly written to interpret. They are not written for only singing, or they are not written for only preaching. You see, it is called Prabodhan and Manoranjan comes together. Preaching and entertainment is fused together in this form. So if someone wants to be female, then one will take the chundari or towel of any audience and just put a pallu on head and becomes female character. If you want to have a child, so somebody will pick up some small child and bring it on stage, whether that child likes or not. So this so-called, and it runs with the time. See, there are so many wonderful forms which runs with the pulse of the time, present tense. Though the poetries are written, say, 800 years back, 900 years back, 100 years back, but they are interpreted by the rural folks as they visualize, as they get impulse, as they spontaneously react to them. And this is what that Bharud means. It has a singing, it has a singing, it has enactment, it has a dialogue and dance also. So it is a total theater form, and Indian roots forms will be based always on totality. There would be music, there would be dance, and there would be theater together, and visual arts, of course. So it is a fusion of all this together, which create a Indianness.
I was asking what was the occasion of the performance of Bharud?
Occasion is sometime they come on Ekadashi, when they go to Pandharpur to meet their deity. They walk for months together, like you people go to Ayyappa. I have seen in Kerala by walking by foot, barefoots. So they also, and when they stay at one night, so they perform Bharud. There are two forms. Kirtana is more of interpretation of poetry in a preaching way, philosophical way. This is more of a common man's language, in their own vision and in their own way. द्यावी मती गणच गायाला रे, द्यावी मती गण गायाला, द्यावी मती गण गायाला, द्यावी मती गणच गायाला रे, द्यावी मती आम्हा गायाला, द्यावी मती आम्हा गायाला. नाचत नाचत आले गणपती न पायी घागऱ्या वाजविती, नाचत नाचत आले गणपती न पायी घागऱ्या वाजविती. अंगी शेंदुराची उटीन कापूर कस्तूर ललाटी, अंगी शेंदुराची उटीन कापूर कस्तूर ललाटी. द्यावी मती गणच गायाला रे, द्यावी मती आम्हा गायाला, द्यावी मती आम्हा गायाला, द्यावी मती गणच गायाला.
Oh, wonderful. So this is actually a new information to me that no, you're a good singer also. I didn't know that. I had to thank Anaka for pointing out that no, there is some singer in you.
Thank you very much, Chandradasanji. I enjoy talking to you all guys, and thank you for provoking me to talk on this subject, because it is because of Chandradasan changed me last 3-4 months. I was busy in my workshop, so I was trying to avoid and do it after completion of my workshop. But till yesterday night, I was totally confused. So I slept, and in the morning, then I realized what should I talk. So this was a preparation between 8 and 10.
So thank you, Wamanji, especially, and for everybody who come in and was active. So thank you from the Lokadharmi group, Sofa Menon and Sridhi, who are taking charge, of course.
Thank you, each of you, Ushaji,
thank you so much.
Benji, Benil, Vishwasji, and so many. There are so many students of mine, Upendraji, and those who are now here and those who left for the lunch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for nice lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you somewhere. Yes. Bye. Thank you.
So see you all next Sunday, 7 p.m. See you 7 p.m. next Sunday. We'll have a totally different session next Sunday. Kathleen Mulligan will join from New York, and she'll be speaking about
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.